Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another daily devotion. I'm Pastor Roy here at Woodlawn Christian Church in Lake City, Iowa, and I do these devotions Monday through Friday of every week. This devotion is for Friday, July 8th of 2022, and we are currently working our way through the Gospel of Matthew. We have made it to the 21st chapter. Today we're going to deal with verses 23 to 27. Now, this is the Monday of Holy Week. Yesterday was devotion was also Monday. It was Monday morning. Jesus was coming back into the city and he cursed the tree and he talked about moving mountains, and that's in yesterday's devotion. So go take a look, listen to that. That was July 7th devotion. Thursday, July 7th, we should say. So I'm not going to talk about that today. Today we are dealing with the authorities are questioning him. They're coming and asking him where he gets his authority. Because remember, Jesus has already been to the temple one day. He did the cleansing of the temple. By what authority do you think you get away with tipping over tables? By golly. And also we had people here in the temple yesterday when he was healing and teaching, and now he's going to be in the temple teaching and probably healing again. And people were calling, the children specifically yesterday were calling him by as the king, son of David, calling him the son of David. They also called him that as he came into the triumphant entry, and they called him that as he was outside just before he got there. You had the blind men recognizing him as the son of David. So he has been recognized as the Messiah. So here the authorities are trying to catch him up on that. If they can get him to say and claim he's the Son of God or claim he's the Messiah, then they can get him in some trouble with them. They can charge him with blasphemy. But Jesus doesn't fall for these things. So let's look at verses 23 to 27 here in the 21st chapter of Matthew. When he entered the temple, the chief priests and the elders of the people came to him as he was teaching and said, "By what authority are you doing these things, and who gave you this authority?" Jesus said to them, "I will ask you one question. If you tell me the answer, then I will also tell you by what authority I do these things. Did the baptism of John come from heaven, or was it of human origin?" And they argued with one another. "If we say from heaven," he will say to us, "then why did you not believe him? But if we say of human origin, we are afraid of the crowd, for all regard John as a prophet." So they answered Jesus, "We do not know." And he said to them, "Neither will I tell you by what authority I am doing these things." So, a couple of things there. As I mentioned, they're trying to trip him up to get to say, by the authority he's doing this is because he is the Messiah, the Son of David, or the Son of God. He's going to blaspheme, or he's going to claim to be a messianic movement and they'll be able to then address that, I guess. Or conversely, they may be trying to get him to say, "Well, I'm a disciple of John." Well, then that demotes him a little bit because he's doing it by the authority of being a disciple of John, or a disciple of Hillel or Shammai or some other rabbi. He could say that's by what authority he's doing it, because that would be where you're getting your teaching. But what yoke are you doing this? So that would diminish him a little bit in the eyes of the crowd. They're trying to trip him up, because if he doesn't say he's the Messiah, then he's not being recognized by the crowd by who they said he was. Again, outside the city by the blind men, and as he came in the triumphant entry, and the children that were crying out who he was yesterday as he was healing the lame and the blind in the temple. So that it's all about them trying to catch him up. But Jesus isn't going to fall for that. God doesn't fall for all of these things. God doesn't need to justify himself to those naysayers. That's one thing we have to remember. We when we're confronted by someone that's assaulting us and trying to browbeat us because they don't believe in God. They're an atheist or whatever. And as a former atheist, you don't have to respond to that, guys and gals. You don't have to. You have no obligation to them to provide them with an answer. That's not what you are called to do. That's up to God. We'll leave it to God. So you can say to them, "We're going to leave that to God to answer your question. He will at some point. You believe it or not, whether you want to believe it or not, he will. He answers these leaders' questions as well. Soon enough, they're going to know whose authority Jesus' teachings come from. It's going to be shown very evident on the day of the resurrection. But again, the thing that we can walk away from this is we don't bear an obligation to the naysayers to answer to answer what they are going to say to us. Now we can go to them and we can try to teach them, but if they're going to abuse us and they're trying to trap us up, we can do just what Jesus does and say, hey, tell me this. Come up with a question, I guess. If you believe that, then how about that? Whatever. I'm not going to come up with an answer for you today because that just popped into my head to do that. I think the better thing to do is to disengage and to just let God. That's not necessarily our calling to answer everyone's criticism. And I've used that a few times, especially online. People will try to drag you into long diatribes and just try to abuse you. That's not what you're all about. That's not what you're here for. You're here to teach those that are willing to listen. Don't to cast your pearls before swine, as they say. So I think that's what I'm going to leave you with today. It's been a long day, tiring day. We've got a lot of things going on. Saturday, which is coming quickly, that'll be tomorrow from when you're listening to this, we do have the funeral from Earl Hallam here, who is the World War II soldier who was killed in New Guinea, and they recently identified his remains and brought him back home here to Lake City. And we're going to be interring him beside his mother and father 80 years later from his passing in World War II. It's very touching and heroic thing. He actually was highly decorated for his actions as a 22-year-old man in that campaign that he died in. So with that, I'm going to let you go for today. Have a very blessed day, and please, please, please be a blessing to someone today. Tell them about Jesus. That'd be a great way to bless them. All right? Take care and God bless.